Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, Talia, big pick nowadays, feels like something Nongshim have had a little bit of success with as well. So they're going to take that off the board. No Talia in this first game. And not a bad idea in general, just because Delight loves his Rakan. And Talia's pretty good into that, as C1 once again found out today. Maokai.
That's one.
That is one on the list. Where's number 2? And can you afford to just only ban one player in this meta?
I don't know if you can, but at the very least, there are so many good AD carry picks open. Right, like Ashe, I think, is a standout, but you can go Kalista lanes. Not into Ashe specifically, but even like if you go Kalista Rumble, I do think it's still good. Ashe is going to get taken away nonetheless. I wonder if Kalista is the final one to be taken off the board here. Tristana still open, Corki still open. We'll often see those taken away as well. Tristana will get taken away here from Fisher. I think Fisher has been better than I expected. Obviously had a really rough split in the LPL. Yeah. Was decently hyped before that when he was still in Challengers. And also is, I think, when it comes to average level, a lot higher than what we saw out of both Fiesta and Call Me. I think Fiesta had his moments, but struggled a lot in lane. Call Me never really was able to flourish. I think Fisher has brought a little bit of consistency. The main thing for me has got to be the bot lane. Like, I don't think Googer, the experiment so far, doesn't seem to be very convincing, both in lane, out of lane, in terms of macro. And for Gio, as mentioned, I think the standards that this player has set for themselves are very high, and I don't think he's meeting them right now. Is a Rumble pickup. It is the best top laner by a very large margin. Love this. Probably means it's going to be, I don't know, Vi, maybe Vi Azir to come out from Hanwha Life. Wouldn't surprise me if that's the angle, or Vi Corki is another that would make a lot of sense. Unless Nongshim pick it away here, which I hope they do.
Definitely a good angle. I was wondering why they banned the Tristana, because if you leave it up, you know, Kalista ban comes out, then you just get Tristana for Zeka, but that would leave Tristana and Rumble available. So actually this feels pretty good from the blue side. Just take the Tristana down, give the Rumble over to Doran. You're not really getting traded back in a huge way over to Nongshim, although that Corki will come out. And now we get to see if your prediction does come true. The Vi very good in Sejuani. It's really, really good with Rumble. And Peanut can also play it to a high level. I think that's got to be the pick.
I don't think in like the last 2.5 years I've seen Peanut play a different champion than Sejuani, Maokai, or Vi if he can just play those. And the Ezreal is going to get locked in here. I actually was expecting it to be the Zeri and then combine that with the Vi so that they can pick Vi on the opposite end. Although I guess the Sejuani is already there, and I don't think Nongshim is the team to really go for crazy flexes. See if Peanut ends up going towards the expected pick, or if he wants to do something differently. Nidalee is really good into the Sejuani.
Zed. No.
But no.
I mean, Zed has a pretty good matchup into Corki, but all things considered, we're not picking Zed.
We're picking Zeri?
In the LCK. Skarner.
Oh, I mean, the problem is it's hard to pick something that's good into Rumble. This matchup does feel a little dicey to me. Especially Doran. Yeah. Doran is the type of player who will take Rumble and possibly even go Ignite and then just kind of dunk on you unceremoniously, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a pretty big deal. I feel like you essentially just try to take the L in lane and say, well, maybe I get an early kill, like they did to Perfect earlier on today, and, you know, not eventually go on to lose the entire game from there. I mean, the Skarner definitely does have a lot of utility outside of lane, so I think it's all right. And the Yone is going to come out as the ban here. They already have a lot of magic damage with the Ezreal and the Rumble on their side, so expecting an AD mid, especially with Zeka there.
Zeri gets taken out here. See what else is going to come through. More AD mid bans wouldn't surprise me, although with Yone, Tristana, Corki all gone, like maybe you go for Lucian. I don't know if you really... I don't think the Lucian has actually looked good.
Yeah.
I know Chovy won on it, but, you know, that's false data, as we all know. The Leona ban, Leona Ezreal obviously insanely strong, so not too surprised. The Kai'Sa gonna get taken away as well, which shouldn't come as a surprise. Kai'Sa, I don't think right now is actually as strong of a counter into Ezreal as she once was, because Ezreal is so insanely strong at the moment. I already can't overstate. We already saw Ezreal being played last patch, and then he was buffed on his Q, I think his W as well, and then ult. And like, they were substantial buffs. They were, oh, is it gonna be like a Geo Smolder or like a I don't know, what else would he play? Nila? I can't imagine you play Nila in this scenario,
but yeah, I think you are down. You're going down like the right vein, right? I think it is going to be something weird like that.
Ziggs?
Especially with a lot of bans already.
Maybe Ziggs. Maybe he wants to go for an AP character here. Could be the angle, as it's Corky's here. Yay!
Yeah, yay. What year is it? Where am I?
I don't
it's
know.
okay,
I don't want to know. Wait, you were doing the voice.
I know.
Don't throw it to me.
I didn't want to do it to myself. That would be weird. Alistar is the choice, and I think that's a great choice. Delight's Alistar very strong. Alistar very strong. And it's Nongshim, so you save R5 counter pick for Jiwoo. And what's it going to be? Could also play the Corki, although I kind of doubt it. Xayah Rakan.
It is, so I really like Jiwoo on characters that can carry team fights. And this is a character that can carry team fights. I just don't know if into Ezreal you're going to be feeling great about it. Xayah's biggest weakness has always been when she is outranged. Your ult's going to get forced by so many things, and you are going to have to deal with so many, right? You have the Rumble ult, you have the Vi ult, you have Zeka shuffles, you have Alistar. Valdez is actually pointing them out to me, and just
I'm like the helper for Chronicler, as
but
he's saying.
It's true. There are scenarios where you can go and you're like, man, the Xayah really does the job here. Now, I think we already saw her once this split. Was it? I think it might have been Aining. Did get a win on it as well. I do remember it winning.
Yeah, it's 1-1 actually.
1-1. Okay, I don't remember who the other player was that played it.
Yeah.
But I'm 90%. I actually think that was.
Is it like Envy?
DK. It might have been, yeah. I think it was DK into Hanwha, if I remember correctly.
Huh.
Xayah came out, and there I'm like, it was really good. There are some parts of the draft that it works well against too, right? Because relatively, the top side of the map is fairly short range, as long as you can stay away from the Azir soldiers, and for Rumble and for the Vi, you get a lot of value out of your ultimate, but Chiyo's really got to do some heavy lifting here, and I think the laning phase might be rough. I know we see Alistar and Ezreal, and you're like, but in the current form, we've seen them win lane.
Yeah, it's a new day, it's a new meta, and Ezreal Alistar is a power lane, and they got it on their side for Viper and Delight. Let's see if they can carry the game as we move on to the Rift for game number 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we go. Hanwha Esports up against Nongshim, match 28. As we are getting towards the end of week 3 here. Just flying by is the LCK.
Seeing Guger play Rakan makes me miss Peter. Remember Peter when he came in and he had those couple of Rakan games? That was great.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. How's Peter doing?
He's not playing.
Yeah,
I know.
Well,
yeah.
Never mind then.
As far as last time I checked, at least Nongshim in Challengers was playing Vital.
Yes.
Not Peter. I think Peter's just on the bench for the main team. So he is still here. Just not playing. I do see the Ghost, and he'll come out here. If Jiwoo can step up majorly, maybe that's the angle here. But Nongshim's biggest issue, I think, have been how disjointed they look. I think this is outside of the Xayah, I'd argue that the Xayah is kind of a odd one out. But this is a good team cup, right? Skarner Sejuani, really strong front line. Your engage is nuts. You have only 2 carries, but they are capable of doing completely unreasonable amount of damage if you allow them to get to their item spikes. It's just hard to imagine that team fighting power working against Hanwha with the light on Alistar, Peanut on Vi, and then Doran on Rumble. And Rumble team fighting is so insanely strong. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it just feels like sometimes you get the Rumble, you have a lane, the lane exists up against the Skarner, sometimes nothing really happens, and then you might hit like a couple of ults, but it's not really consequential, and your team kind of loses the lane. It's kind of like the top lane experience, you know?
Yeah.
It feels surprising, but actually when I think about it, it's like, well...
Doesn't matter.
Sometimes the top laner carries, but it's pretty rare, so just kind of, you know... Sometimes a Rumble that could have won lane just loses anyway. So, doesn't amount to too much in terms of a lead one way or the other. Zeka back on Azir. Azir back in the meta. Up against Corki. Again.
Yeah, that level of priority is really interesting. And I think it really goes to show that if you're confident that you can play an AP jungler well and your team can play around it, you pick AD mids. Like, you go to Lucian. And again, if Chovy doesn't make Lucian look oppressive, like, the pick is not that strong.
Yeah.
Provides what it provides, but like, it's not like he's winning lane on it. I think he wins more lanes on Corki than he does on Lucian, from what we've seen so far. And obviously Canyon on AP jungler is always going to feel amazing. But it isn't a surprise to me that both Hanwha Life and T1 are like, we don't really want to do that as Sylvie.
Viper's in a lot of trouble. He already flashed, and it looks like he doesn't have a Arcane Shift. Down he will go. First blood goes over to Jiwoo as Sylvie was going for the large wraparound. Delight just out in the river, not able to help peel for Viper, who used everything and then died.
Such a big win for Nongxin. Able to get a kill on Jiwoo of all people. Should be your most reliable carry on the team. Take another look here. And Viper, they really want to get the crash here.
Oh.
But he's aggressively. And I think Delight, the moment that they play that aggressive, knows that, like, and I understand Delight trying to walk back there, because if he's a little bit earlier, he can just disengage the Sejuani, and then, you know, Viper uses his sums, but he gets out. But instead, it's a worst case scenario, is immediate return gank here.
Yeah, Jiwoo doesn't have flash, so would be the ideal target. At the end of the day, just a good reaction from the Nongxin bot lane, so they're not going to stick around for very long.
Ooh, wave state is a bit awkward, though.
Yeah.
See, I think they ideally would want that to push back right on the next wave, but right now, in a little bit of a tough spot. So Jiwoo just gets his back. BF sword on the first, but first is Viper with just a tear. And as we can see here, yeah, this is frozen. They're gonna either need to call Sylvie or take some risks of trying to fix this, because they're gonna be losing a lot over the current position that the wave is in.
Yeah, I think, you know, Delight goes back and Jiwoo's gonna get there, and he's super strong with that BF sword, as you mentioned. So I think even in the 2v2, can probably just push that one in, especially with Delight away. And Sylvie,
please,
the little trickster that he is.
Oh, he's gonna get spotted here.
Uh-oh. Hello.
Doesn't matter, though. He should be able to get the wave in.
Yeah.
There's no sums on Viper, no flash on Delight.
It's not a giant wave, but it doesn't really matter. As now, just gonna slowly approach Viper, and he takes a ton of damage. Will Arcane shift away? The TP comes in, and the stun! Jiwoo is taking the turret! He's gonna die to the turret! Delight takes him down, and Doran is here. Viper even looking to get the kill at the end of this. As down he will go to Guger for some reason at all. I have no idea why he did that, but Doran will get the kill.
Well, break that one down, Chronicler.
Yeah, take it away, Chronicler.
Yeah. So,
over to you.
That play broke me a little bit. So a lot goes wrong there. We have Nongxin setting up the dive, which I love, but at some point, I think Guger went out. I don't know if it was Sylvie or I think, yeah, based on the health, probably Sylvie who dropped aggro. And then as he dropped aggro, Jiwoo got aggro, who obviously does not have the tools to easily get out of turret range. And then he just kind of died. And because he was trying very hard to stay alive, Viper didn't die. But then Viper saw that, felt that, and was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Have a little gift.
That must
so,
be it.
because the way they wanted to try and set this up, right, is you have Sylvie take aggro with his Frost Armor. He takes aggro, which he does, and then you get the E, and then that's the end of it. But Delight does a really good job of disengaging, and then here, it's Cougar that obviously should have the aggro, but it goes to Gio instead. And then I have no idea if Viper just walks into the alcove, he's definitely completely fine.
He could just walk towards the wave. I mean, there's a cannon there that they dropped as well. Like, you don't even have to get the kill. You can just go get the cannon.
I don't know, Valdez.
He just greeted for the kill. That's all it is. It's very unfortunate, but... And yeah, it's only a kill over to Cougar, but that's Viper out of lane. It's a big deal. As now we get the combo coming in. Gio's still no flash, and just up the lane, here comes Peanut. He's got flash, he's got ult. And Gio is so dead. Here comes the Sejuani, though, and he was gonna go wide. Wait. Like, please kill this guy as he gets another ground pound down, but man, this is much harder than it really needs to be, guys. They finally got the job done, though. Peanut presses flash, presses R, and I am going to pretend I did not see that. Take it away, Chronicler.
Stop saying take it away, Chronicler. Even though one of those was me.
Over you.
Oh, it's the double fake out. Although now he doesn't kill him because he doesn't have flash to Ian back into the wall. So, I really like the gank timing there from Peanut. That was well done. I think Peanut has been in the right place at the right time consistently, which has been great. So, Gio gets into engage range here. Means that already takes so much damage before Peanut is even here. And then you see Sylvie's immediately trying to path bot, but he's just not in time. If Gio is level 6, this is a breezy counter gank, and you're able to turn it around. Instead, not the case. Nicely done to Blight there to not walk in turret range. If he gets W'd while he's underneath the turret, it would be a disaster. And then Mahal, I appreciate him trying to go for the Flash E play. And if you trade Flash for Flash, it's fine. But he uses his Flash, does not get the ult, or the E rather, and then Doran also just walks off when he does find him with the ult. And now it's almost 30 CS lead.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't replay that one.
Please don't. Nothing happened. It's fine.
Nothing happened. We're just, you know, a natural lead. The Rumble's enjoying a good time. The first pick Rumble, it's Doran. He's having a great time up there in the top lane, up against a newer player to the LCK, in Mahal.
I gotta say though, and this is the same case with Frog, I really hope that these new top laners, like, they come in, they play against Keen, they play against Zeus, they play against Doran. That's really tough. Think back to Perfect in the first couple of weeks, and I think Perfect is obviously not a really realistic standard for everyone to hold yourself to. We have players like Clear that I don't think have improved nearly as much, but do hope that we just keep them in, you know, and even I love Dunden, but I would rather have Mahal get a couple of weeks in the LCK and then see how that goes.
Yeah.
Right now, though, obviously getting completely pummeled here by Doran, as is to be expected when Doran gets his Rumble.
Yeah. Doran had a lead, and then he even TP'd bot, got a kill down there, and then returned with that gold. So it helps out in his lane. Mahal wasn't really able to punish that or get a big lead from that just because he's Skarner. Now he's going to freeze this in front of his lane. No flash, though.
With ult, he might still die if Peanut opts to go in.
Yeah, he gets in range of the R as Doran's waiting for it, but that is the E into the turret, and Peanut is going to go down. But it's still another kill onto Doran, and you drop a whole wave, and Doran might even get that whole turret.
It's definitely worth it, but Peanut, just wait. Doran had his ult in like 3 seconds.
Too long.
No, not too long.
The timing was perfect.
That's fine. Doran's fed. You know, he gets the proxy the next wave, gets another blade.
Oh, nice ult, actually. That was going to hit him, so Zeka has to flash. So Sylvie on the mark with that one.
Sylvie has really stepped. I think we collectively have been mostly impressed by him. I mentioned Fisher earlier. I think Fisher was better than expected, but I don't think the expectation were very high. Sylvie has just been good. Got that brand POG, but I think his movements on the map has really shown that he has gotten a lot more consistent after his time in the LCK.
Here's Doran trying to win the third lane of the game. He is just going to drop an equalizer on top of Fisher, who's like, wait, why is the top laner here? Is Sylvie going to get in front of Peanut? And now the flash over the wall, and the burn from Doran will get the job done. And now Sylvie who was just trying to help out, might have to flash out of this one, but no, he's got Guger to come over and save him and save his flash. So 3 kills to Doran now.
Yeah, Doran is really not giving Nongshim any room to breathe. As Peanut, I think they should be okay. They might have to flash though.
I mean, TP's coming in, so maybe Nongshim back off of this one, saying, okay, we don't have the damage, and if we stayed, maybe we kill him, but maybe we all die. Now Doran goes too deep, and Zeka's like, wait, I wasn't going that deep. And that's gonna be a shutdown.
Doran!
Forky.
Come on, man!
And now Delight. Yeah.
What is happening, Phil?
Take it away, Chronicler, please.
No.
Please take it away.
I don't want to take it away. What? And if you're wondering why we're already a little bit cooked, we had a really classic KT roller coaster series, but also this game is so silly. Why? What is happening? Why is Peanut just diving a Skarner with ult up when he can wait and then they have an equalizer? Why is Doran TPing into like 4 people? And every play up until this point has been great. Shows in mid, right? Peanut is there for the backup as well. Doran makes sure that Sylvie doesn't get in him. Sylvie doesn't have ultimate because he used it in the earlier play. And as a result, we do see Doran make his run. And then here, just back off. What? Doran obviously is going to TP back in, but still Peanut. If you don't have your support on the map and Guger is already on the roam, you need to respect that.
Well,
and then Alistar isn't here. You don't have to go that deep, especially not against Skarner. I like this TP from Fisher a lot. That's the damage that they really need. Otherwise, there might have been an opportunity here. But you don't have your Vials. Zeka already used his ultimate in the play earlier, so just leave.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't utilize the walk strategy in the right direction. They went too deep.
This is Nongshim we're talking about. I love Nongshim, but you're supposed to be up more than 500 gold at 14 minutes.
That's true. I mean, especially given the way the early game went. But now Nongshim are like, hey,
you know what?
They just got such a gigantic shutdown over to Fisher. It was like 650 gold.
I'm turning
to the Corki.
This is all due to Nongshim, actually. It's Nongshim playing it perfectly.
Okay.
That's where we're at. So they're gonna lose the turret. There are 3 grubs. Don't have TP available right now. We'll see if they can win the race. They might try to hard force here in mid.
Yeah.
As we do have a lot of damage being taken here by the respective members. You gotta place it down. No, I don't think it's gonna be in time. I think bot lane is gonna go down on this wave. And there it is, first turret blood. Mid lane turret is a lot more valuable though. Doran is here. They don't have it just yet.
I mean, they get the crash, but now Jiwoo in a bit of trouble. But they go so deep into the Xayah that the feathers come back. And now the CC chain on Doran. He's going to die again. As the rest of the team from Hololive Esports, Peanut and Zeka, who are in the bot lane, they come over and they save the mid turret. But man, Nongshim really finding some angles in this one.
Now, an auto or 2 in the mid lane turret is going to go down. Doran graciously deciding that being free and 0 on Rumble isn't the way to go. Instead opting to give over a couple of freebies to Nongshim, who were already struggling. Still gold lead here for Hanwha. And Hanwha have an amazing team fight bomb. I think it's very likely that Hanwha are completely fine. Oh, can they get this?
Smite's good. Peanut, though, might be in a little bit of trouble. Might be forced to flash a wall or 2. He is actually going back in, and the ward over the wall, he just throws up the Pango ult. It's Hextech Soul.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so probably more action.
So I imagine Doran used his ult top to clear a wave. So Jiwoo actually, normally what happens is the Xayah ult gets forced and then there's an equalizer on top. So the moment you come out, you're toasted.
Yeah.
And Jiwoo had a late ult. Maha unfortunately not hitting that impale. Could have been big. Don't think they should still go for this without Impale, no wave, and Zeka having summoners, and they decide not to, which I think is very prudent of them.
Yeah. Good decision after all of that. If Maya lines up the Impale, then sure, you can maybe get something going.
I gotta say though, Valdez, out of all the teams that I don't think you should play these type of messy games where then they get to actually just straight up 5v5 you, Nongshim is probably my front runner because they have Jiu, and he's a really good AD carry, even though right now not necessarily having the best performance either in this split or I think in this game thus far. But that play in mid, that might be a precursor of what's to come.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if you're ahead and Hololive Esports aren't in a position to really isolate the Xayah, and you get to get a lot of value out of your Featherstorm, then sure, it can be good. You know, if Equalizer comes out early, you know, Hololive Esports are kind of reaching, and they have to go for other targets. Like, Fisher's really fed as well, so there is potential for Jiwoo. You know, we said originally in an even game state, okay, the Featherstorm's not going to have too much value just because there's too many threats. There's too many ways to force it out. There's tons of damage, range damage from the Ezreal and the Rumble that can force it. As the ult's going to be thrown in there, Fisher has to flash away. There's a Vi in the brush they did not expect and did not account for. Now Sylvie is all alone against 3 people and should be going down. They would absolutely dive if they had to, but they don't even have to. It's a kill over to Zeka and Peanut in the top lane.
Big moment there. Peanut, yet again, right place, right time. Even if Sylvie hits that ult, I don't think it substantially changes the play. Peanut will just come in a little bit earlier and imminent collapser on Gugur and Jiu.
Well, that's the forced Featherstorm, and now the entire team's coming in, but Peanut, oh no, he's under the turret, and he is going to live for just a moment, but Mihail, surely, he gets the kill. No, he beats his whole team in as the bottom lane goes down, and Mihail's dead too. Oh no! Cover your eyes. Hololive Esports just dunked on them.
Everything was okay, Valdez. Couldn't have been okay for just a little bit more time. I don't even know what healed Peanut there at the end. I thought Mao actually had him. And then he ended up being fine. Maybe it was the auto from Sundered Sky.
I think so, yeah.
That's probably what ended up keeping him
Heals
high.
a lot.
It does heal a lot, especially if you're that low in health. Jiu and Gugur being that far pushed up, though, is a little tough. We see there as well with the Xayah that one of the weaknesses, if you get flanked from multiple angles and you can't just kite back, as we take another look here, even if the ult would have hit, wouldn't have really made a difference. Really like Zeka there, making sure Sylvie isn't there. Not really an opportunity for him to either do anything, and it sets up the follow-up play where the light also shows up to ensure they get the kill.
Let's watch the mid lane play again.
So Peanut fails his flash Q because Jiu flashes, then gets pulled back, and then here, Miles like, we can do this. And then Doran just, you know, he died a bunch of times, but he's still fed, guys.
Uh-oh. And now they're diving the enemy jungle. Down will go the Rakan. The Impale is pretty good this time, but there's no follow-up, and he is just falling apart like a piece of paper.
There's no damage.
It's just way too much into Mihail, and yeah, there's just no follow-up. Nobody was there, and they kind of got caught with their pants down in the jungle. So now, you know, we had that insane early game. It was so messy, but Hololive Esports are very easily and very comfortably in the driver's seat right now.
They really went from, in that 5-minute window, from like 15 to 20 minutes, from like 600-700 gold leads to 5.5K.
And they saw Sylvie. So
they're TPing, Valdez.
Yeah, they're TPing. They want to try to punish this, but there are a lot of members of Nongshim up here. I do wonder about the gold diff at this point. They're trying to get, oh, the Zhonya's value. But the TP will come in, and Charm does follow up, but now Doran putting in the damage. Gugur will go down.
Zeka lives!
Zeka lives after all of that. Jiwoo will also bite the dust, and now you're just being chased down. Fisher says, hey, you want a 1v1? I'll take a 1v1 versus you any day. And he will actually get the kill, but he also does pay for it with his life. So that's an ace over to Hololive Esports.
Fisher just making sure they don't get the clean ace, Valdez.
Yeah.
I think he could have made it out. Gugur is already alive because we are 21 minutes into the game. As I guess this had, oh my god. Thank you for showing that, observers.
Yeah.
That's what led to the earlier play, where then the turrets are up, and they're diving 2 turrets deep.
Yeah, the turrets are big.
So a lot of what we've seen as they're keeping the Baron alive so that Viper also gets the buff, a lot of what we see here is just a very clear signal in league terms that we don't respect you as a team and we can just do whatever. And with how the fights have been going, unfortunately, that seems to be somewhat warranted. Zeka doesn't end up going down because there is no Feather recall. Gio is dead, and that means they don't have the damage. And yeah, that's Sonya's value. Absolutely nuts. That could have been a difference maker. They invest so much into trying to kill him. And even if they killed him, obviously they would have lost the fight, but he's not even phased.
I think he said nice, and then I played well, right?
He did!
You did. Zonya's pretty strong. Pretty strong. I'm just glad it's not, you know, 650 gold like it was in the beginning.
I just give my POG vote to Zeka because he's the only one that played like a clean game.
Yeah. You know, it's true. It's actually true.
He's had a good game.
Yeah. Besides him, I mean.
No, the light's been good. The light hasn't had any silly moments.
Yeah, not really. He got baited that one time. As we're going really deep once again, you might as well. You got Rumble, you got Vi, and you have huge amounts of money, which you are dumping on their heads now. That is a couple of takedowns. We do see the Rakan and the Corki gone, and now the Inhibitor also taken down. HLE Esports, they're not going to break any records, but they're looking for a quick win here in game number 1. As Peanut, you know, bit of damage comes in. Nice little combo from Delight. Gonna flash on in there and take down the Sejuani. As that will go one next to turret, but Gio a little bit scary. You can see they need to get a bit more damage on him, but they really want to pressure here. And even with a minute and 10 left on the Rebel Baron power play, it looks like they do want to slowly back away and take it slow.
Maybe a flash ult. Gio was like, where was my lethal tempo? I keep autoing them, but I'm not getting any range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Ooh.
Yeah. Again, the poke, it's rough for Zaya.
I don't know if he had to ult there.
I don't think so,
It's
but
level 2. At this point, I don't think it matters quite as much. Even though the cooldown on Zaya ult is quite long. Like, what do you do? We already saw this earlier today. Vi Rumble, there's no counterplay. Like, if you start falling behind, Vi will press R on you because it's point and click, and then Rumble lays down the carp. That's the end of it. You can't do anything. Even with Randuin's on Doran, doesn't matter.
Yeah, as we're seeing a little play in the enemy jungle here for HLE Esports as the Impale comes down on a Peanut. Will he live again? No, he will not. It's a shutdown for the Corki, but Delight won't be shut down nearly as easily.
Okay, that's a good moment. Peanut's down. Doran used his ultimate. Maybe an opportunity here for Nongxin.
It's just tanking turret, man. He's just getting in there. As now the flash, the E into the wall. Doran in a little bit of trouble, but the follow-up is non-existent. Jiwoo getting burnt to a crisp, and now Viper just wants to go 1v9 the enemy team right now. And he's going to take down the Skarner at least. As HLE Esports looking for their second inhibitor.
HLE gonna bring them down to only one inhibitor left standing. See if they want to wait. They don't have to wait, obviously. They can just run top and blow them up. I can't believe Viper has... That is with Doran also going Leandries. It's really hard to outdamage that. Also, Zeka is going for the kind of hybrid tank build. Didn't go Grasp, but is building towards a Frozen Heart right now.
Yeah. I mean, Ezreal's always had good damage in the past, and now that he's buffed, you know, he's doing it again. Ezreal is back in the meta. First pick by some teams. And now, essentially, you get a pick on anyone, and if Viper's there, they might just die. Speaking of which, Guger's dead. As Doran just going to light him up with that equalizer.
As long as they don't funnel 5-man into Gio, this is going to be the end of the game, Veldas.
Yep, that it should be. Jiwoo, you have a lot of work to do. He does have a Featherstorm, but he did not cast it as he gets flashed on instead. The Impale comes down, but HLE Esports just checking the boxes here. Just a little bit of extra BM right at the end. Want to up those KDA scores and also down those KDA scores. Down will go the Nexus, as that was game number 1. One of the games of League of Legends of all time.
It feels like HLE went to the theme park, you know, and they wanted a remembrance, so they took a picture, and then the second one they said, let's do a silly one.
Yeah.
And that was this game. It was a silly one. And then the moment they were like, hey, we're they're actually relatively close. They turn it on, had 3 back-to-back plays where they heavily outplayed them, and then that was the end of it. At no point could Nongshim really do anything. And Hanwha Life wins the win in game number 1.
Clean 1-0. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Just move on. You had a bit of fun. Nongshim made it interesting. Pino was having a great time. Every time he was on camera, he was cackling. He was laughing. And yeah, I mean, they had fun. They got the win. What else can you ask for? It's fine. Nongshim, though, I'm sure they're going to be disappointed. I mean, they got some decent wins early on in the game, but that mid-game, man, that 15 to 20-minute stint.
Look at that.
You can see it. A couple of gigantic jumps in favor of Hanwha Life Esports, and they kind of let that one get away from them very fast, did Nongshim. So back to the drawing board, especially when the 80 carry damage gap is 3x.
I know that there were a lot of 80 carries banned, but it couldn't have been Xayah.
Well, it was this time. And, you know, I think there was one decent moment, but we'll have to see how it looks in game number 2. Hanwha Life Esports taking the first win in the series. We're going to take a break and be right back with the space.
나오면 볼게. 텔도 있어. 아, 볼게 여기. 그러면 이번에 탑 가. 이번에 그냥 세게 하자. 나 텔. 딸피. 잡았어. 끝낼 생각하자 이거. 나 궁돌아. 코르키한테 막아줄래? 바이. 오케이. 갈게. 천천히 막아, 천천히. 오케이. 형, 궁 뿌려볼래? 일단 몸 대게. 코르키 튀었어. 성공했어. 탱커. 스카너. 라이브 하자, 계속 죽이고 끝내자. 사냐? 그렇게 노플인데. 다 죽여줘. 나이스. 끝내자. 이제.
Or maybe they can bring us to a game number 3.
Yeah, hoping for a long and fruitful series between these two teams. But after what I saw in game 1, we're going to have to see Nongshim really step it up because...
Gotta lock in.
Because Hanwha Life Esports, they really, they didn't play a clean game, and they still won with flying colors very quickly. So, there needs to be a bit of a step up. Perhaps Nongshim will hope that Hanwha Life Esports will continue to play it fast and loose and have some crazy moments, just like in game 1, because then they'll get another opportunity to try to get the upset. Otherwise, might just be Hanwha running away with this one. Hanwha Life.
I hope Rumble is taken by Mihao this time around and he gets to play it, and then he gets to have a little bit of fun. Although we have actually seen, literally, not just today, but I'm pretty sure it was, I want to say Doran against Frog, where a similar thing happened, where you have both sides of the matchup, and then both sides were just kind of unfortunate and didn't really do a
So-
whole lot.
So
It's going to be B1 Rumble.
Life Esports, they're going to leave Rumble open, and then, I thought they were
Okay.
going to leave it open, and then Nongstrom were going to
Troll.
pick Sejuani.
Traitorous. Oh, God. They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that, surely. Anyway, Rumble's banned, so we don't have to see... we can still see it instead of Tristana.
Tristana?
It has to be Tristana. It has to be. It's Fisher. It's Tristana.
It's Zeka.
It's
Tristana.
2024 patch 14.12.
It's Tristana.
It's Tristana.
It's Tristana.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good.
That's good.
I was
First test
worried.
passed.
So Skarner Vi?
I like the Vi. I think you don't necessarily have to slam the Skarner super early. And it's Sejuani.
I saw the hover there from Peanut. It's like, let me out! And the coach is justifiably so like, no, Peanut. You play Sejuani.
Yeah.
No fun for you. Viper, as far as damage goes, was having a great game. As far as game goes, not necessarily looking the cleanest in that one. Didn't end up mattering a whole lot. What is the pick going to be here? I imagine the Skarner lock-in is basically guaranteed. I would love this and Skarner. I think Sylvie actually has a pretty decent champ pool. I think there's a good enough amount of champions that he doesn't have to be worried about getting banned out. You know, we've seen his Viego, we've seen his brand. He can always go back to things like the Wukong, although obviously I don't think that is necessarily the best spot for it. Skarner feels like a safe lock-in because either Hanwha Life are going to go for a last-minute pick into it. And really, outside of Rumble, the only thing, you know, it can go Crescente,
Yeah.
which is fine. As Meow does lock it in here. Doesn't look very excited about it, but it's Skarner, so how could you be?
Yeah, I mean, he's not playing into Rumble this time around, but he is playing into Cassante. I think this is kind of the way it goes nowadays. If you don't pick Cassante, it will be banned. Now, they might want to really prioritize going for the Yone Sejuani combo. It is Zeka, and that's fine as well. It means you won't get Cassante, but now you've got a really strong mid-jungle duo.
You'll still take that if you're Hanwha Life.
Yeah.
Zeka on melee carries has been exceptional for a very, very long time. There is the respect ban to Sylvie. We mentioned it earlier. The brand is, in fact, going to get taken away. Can even, realistically, we haven't seen it that much, but you can also flex the Skarner into jungle if you'd really want to do that, in case that Hanwha Life, for example, lock in and top laner here on R4. Bans expect to be like Braum, Leona maybe, and then they'll pick a top laner, then you'll pick Nautilus, because ideally you want to get Nautilus Kai'Sa. That's kind of the golden standard. See if that is not going to get taken away by Hanwha Life. Wouldn't be surprised if they deny it.
I feel like Delight was saying Ali, like Alistair there. But, you know, I'm not a professional lip reader. It's just something I do in my spare time. We'll see if that's where they do head towards. But it's going to be the Zyra ban at first, which, again, another one of those AP jungles that can really shred through the Sejuani, go on Leandries and stuff like that.
It's so interesting to me that Zyra has become a higher priority ban than Karthus. Because I really, really, truly, to my core, believe that Karthus is so much easier to play than Zyra is. As there is the Alistair ban, so I think Alistair or Leona were always going to be on the chopping block. Leona looks even better now here for Hanwha, right? Because you often pick the Alistair into Leona.
Yep.
So that should be the
Slam it.
outcome here.
Slam it down.
And then you go Nautilus. What is Sylvie going to go?
There it is.
Nautilus Karthus. Nautilus.
How about a Nidalee?
Definitely not Sylvie. I'm sorry, but I don't think you should try that.
Oh.
Even though the matchup in theory is good, I think
Yeah.
it'll be really rough to play out.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, Karthus, Lilia.
Lilia.
Yeah, I think Lilia with Nautilus and Rel or Nautilus or Skarner will definitely still be strong.
I feel like Lilia in theory is definitely... Oh, there's the Nidalee. I mean, you know, say what you want.
It makes sense.
It makes sense, right? In terms of tier lists, in terms of AP junglers that are left available, in terms of matchups, I think they say, okay, let's send it. Let's see if it works out this time. And it might not, but I think the pick in itself in this draft is fine.
So the Rel, Guga might not want to play Nautilus into the Leona specifically. Rel also has more setup when it comes to team fights. One of her big weaknesses is that her damage is a lot lower. As the top TF for Doran, this pick has dropped considerably, and it really, to me, in its current state, feels like you have to hard win your lane to be viable. And then it's still good, still does the same stuff. But it definitely, if you get punished and you fall behind a little bit early, which it's Doran, could happen, I do think you are going to be in a tough spot. The main thing, though, can Nongshim play around Sylvia Nidalee? Because I think Sylvie's had a good split, but I think Nidalee's a champion that is so hard because it requires both a player to play perfectly, not make any major mistakes, not get caught off guard by a Leona or a Sejuani or a gold card or a Yone. There's a whole.
You want me to point to the champions again on the screen?
We get the point, right? There's a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to have to really play a clean game, and Nongshim is going to have to play around it as well. In theory, though, you look at what Nongshim have, and you have, especially if you go for the hybrid build, you have good poke, you have good CC, as love the actually bringing the noodles to this.
Huge Jiwoo fan. He wrote Jiwoo in Korean with little Jiwoos.
I know. Respect.
And he also wrote it on top in English, and he brought the ramen.
If this is Gen G, you're like, man, 10 out of 10 draft. Impeccable.
Yeah, true.
But it's not.
It's not. Meanwhile, on the other side, lots of pick, lots of damage here on the side of Humble Life Esports. Let's see how it goes as we hop onto the Rift for Game 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
And here we go, game number 2, Delight. He's in the top lane. He's being a silly goose. And he's gonna back. Do you think Peanut, do you think he saw that coming and he just didn't move on purpose, or was he not looking?
I think with Peanut, it's equally likely.
I feel like he would have emoted if he did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know where else he would be. No, maybe just... Yeah, I don't... Not sure. To have Sylvie with the Canyon skin. Fisher just putting down a ward. Nothing too shocking to come out here in the level 1. No invades. Looking at what Nongshim have, I again want to reiterate that...
What is happening here?
I think it's Fisher just spamming emotes, like voice lines. Oh, yeah, Zeka.
GG.
He stacked his Q on the Raptors, and then he Q-freed, and it was great.
That is the Yone experience. Just wait till he hits level 3. It's a whole new level.
I just want to remind everyone that Veldis is a known Yone anti.
Yeah.
Banned him for a very long time in solo queue.
Yeah, it was like 6 months, actually. Just only banning Yone every single game.
Was that when Lethal Tempo was still a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was just not fun. It was unfun to play into, personally.
Guess what? This bot lane, unfun. I think the main reason why because we saw Ezreal before, pulled out by Gen G, most notably, but Aiming also played, I think, a game of it before it was buffed, was because it was a very safe pick. You can leave alone. You know, everything that Ezreal's always been good at.
Yeah.
He's really good in scrappy fights. There's a lot of innate safety. He doesn't have W's.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
Delight's on his way, though.
Uh-oh, yeah, Fisher in a lot of trouble here, and he is going to have to flash, but the follow flash is going to come through, and now you've got a Leona on your back, and there is Permafrost and the First Blood going over to Peanut with a very early gank, clears his red buff jungle, and then just goes mid.
You gotta feel a little bit bad for Fisher. So that was a chain of events. So what happens is he's pushed up his lane. So Kaisa actually on the... Okay. I want people also to look at the teams that played it and not read too much into this.
Yeah, Humble Life Esports, man.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened is, which they should, Humble Life have the Ezreal. So Ezreal Leona in particular, very strong early. So you're able to bully out Kai'Sa and Rel. I think that Kai'Sa used to be really strong, but right now, unless you can get like isolated Qs off, especially with Rel, who doesn't have nearly as much damage as a Nautilus or Leona would, it's a bit tough. So you're doing the prio, so you get shoved in, which allows the Light to roam earlier, and then Peanut also getting the timing while Sylvie's on the other end of the jungle, meaning that he can't assist, because if you have Nidalee in a skirmish like that, then you can maybe turn it around. Ends up being a really big win. The only upside for Nongshim is that the kill went to Peanut, who is the best person. Probably, maybe Delight would have been better, but both of those are, you know, not too bad. Fisher, again, he took a turret shot. He is down a TP. So he might be able to back after getting the shove in here. Does get the cannon, thank God.
Did he?
He did get the cannon. I don't think he got the other. So he'll be able to get it back in, ideally, I hope. Because Zeka can just back and then TP in. Hasn't actually used TP yet, even though he did get the back off after the earlier play. He picks up a dagger.
Yeah, it's waiting for a better moment, I guess, in that fight up against the Tristana, which, you know, Homalife Esports did give that one over. And they said, that's okay. We're going to get the Ezreal for Viper. Definitely the big one. Also the Sejuani, you take it away. You say, okay, we don't have too much confidence in you to play the Nidalee as... Now we have this TF who is trying to bully the Skarner. Doran, though, is he's just tanking up the turret, and he is going to die as well. They get the kill. They don't deny too many minions, although there is a wave coming in. So should be worth at the end. Probably didn't need to die.
I don't know if it is, because Doran doesn't have TP, and Meow does.
That's okay. Just run up there.
Oh, Meow's going bot. Oh, they'll never see this one coming.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, they're going to lane swap.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I was actually thinking, given the wave state, that a gank is most likely not going to end up working out. The back?
Well, he's going to stop the lights back.
Yeah, that's big.
So
it'll severely delay the response. Might lead to Nongshim also picking up a couple of grubs here. As we take another look. What is really big here is that I guess Doran still had aggro on him from earlier, because I'm not seeing him do any damage here. Ends up being a really big moment, because it means that Meow gets a kill, makes his way back towards the bot side.
What? All right, well...
this should be doable as long as he doesn't get the TP out.
Well, he definitely can if he wants to. Yeah, there he goes. Just gonna TP about
Guger did
50 meters to the right. Yeah. Anyway, they are pushing with the dual lane, and the Nidalee will have some prio from that. As Mahal, now level 6, trying to gank Zeka in mid, who will just ult away. Also has flash.
Good enough.
Yeah?
You take that. That's a win. It's a small win, but it's a win nonetheless, Valdez.
We take those.
Grubs are being taken right now. We'll also see if Humble Life is going to get anything besides the Drake. Do expect to pick that one up. What about dive number 2? Now that Doran doesn't have his... I really like the light, though. Shadowing here, making sure... don't think...
Nice. Going in.
Should they, though?
Just going to get him off the red for now.
Yeah.
Well,
he was 6, so
never
you definitely
mind.
should... Yeah, you should peace off now, or peace out now. Because if you do actually go in, I think you might be into some serious trouble. Level 1 on Killer Instinct really doesn't have that much range. It's like, I think, slightly larger than a Dragon Pit.
Yeah.
Take like the outer circle, but especially once the second level is hit, you're gonna be in some serious trouble. Nongshim, it's not bad. You know, get grubs, get a rep buff or 2. Sylvie's actually slowly pulling ahead in the 1v1. It's not enough. Especially not after the last game, but something.
It definitely is. I don't know what happened to Fisher here.
Am I not convincing you, Valdez? What's happening here?
I'm just taking I'm not taking sides right now. Just letting it happen.
What do you got against the Noodle Boys?
Nothing.
Huh?
I would like them to make this a close series and a close game too. But again, that's up to them. As meanwhile, Zeka's getting in there. Trying to get this turret plate. Will he be able to from some of those hits? Nope. Not going to happen. And he took a lot of damage, actually, to get in there and chip away at that turret. Still has his teleport. And Fisher's going to have his by the time Zeka uses his.
So I appreciate Mihal being out on the map this much.
Okay, nice little combo here on a Delight. Will force, well, nice combo from Delight onto Jiwoo. Does get the flash out of him.
Jiwoo, ideally there, you look for cleanse and then reposition with your R, but you don't have the opportunity. Oh, Guger's on his way. There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the reposition. Does get behind Peanut, gets to safety. Now Guger in a lot of trouble, still doesn't have his flash. And the freeze will come down and Guger is dead. They'll give that kill to Delight. Yeah, that's a nice kill.
Oh, Guger.
Yeah. Pretty rough, but maybe not assuming that his teammate will get out. Speaking of which, Doran will get out with the Ghost.
Flash.
Yep, just Ghost away. And we'll continue bullying here onto Mihail, knowing that he's got his flash, and if they have the timers right, Mihail doesn't have his.
It's a tough watch, Valdez. You know, sometimes you recommend a movie to your friends.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know it's a little bit painful, you know, some stuff happens, but that's part of the experience. That's how I'm feeling right now. Because Nongshim keep trying, and I really want to commend that. But it also doesn't really work or necessarily make sense in some of the cases. You're going to have to see some spears be hit, be set up. Maybe 6 grubs can be a turning point. One of the things with how Miao has been playing as well, I think he has been very active on the map, right? He's been roaming, went for the lane swap, which has been, I think, pretty decent for his bot lane. Outside of Guger dying, they have been able to do decent in that 2v2.
2 plays.
Yeah, Fisher's going aggressive, does have his sums available here, also has the buffer.
Yeah. He's just going to hop away. And Sylvie going to throw in a spear. Now, yeah, just hopping back in the bush. Will run away. I feel like I'm you know, we expected Sylvie to play the Nidalee in this game. But so far, haven't seen too much of an impact in this one. Peanut having a lot more opportunities with his team.
I didn't even see the start of that, where he doesn't actually Hex Flash over the wall. And then he tries the W in and it gets cancelled! Oh, and then the Q doesn't actually have the range to connect into the damage dealers.
Uh-oh. Well, now we got Guger caught once again. This time, though, no cancel, and he will get away.
They got the grub. That's 4.
Yep.
An angle? A possibility, Valdez?
It's their Guardian angle coming in right now, and now we got a nice little Magnus Storm pulling in Delight. He's in a little bit of trouble, but actually Guger's the one that has to flash away. Doran now frontlining as this Skarner still pretty scary. Peanut wanting to continue the fight now that Zeka's come over. Trying to zoom in, thinking about if Zeka would go for an ult angle as he's just gonna get his Q3 up and get over the wall. But that is 6 grubs over to the side of Nongshim in this early game.
That's a win. I'll take it, Valdez. Nongshim secure one of the objectives fully as, oh boy.
Yeah, well, he does have cleanse and he does have his ult, but still a lot of damage put in there by the Oni.
Gio really showing off the power of Kaisa as a, you know, self-sufficient woman who doesn't need no help. Has her ult, can reposition, use the shield to not get blown up by Yone, who doesn't have an item yet. The one thing that I am a little bit worried about is that Sylvie hasn't really been able to accelerate the way that you ideally want to. And that's not really his fault, right? I think that playing a jungler when a lot of your lanes are really struggling is quite tough. And unfortunately, in Sylvie's situation, it's even more so the case with something like Nidalee. Heist successful, gets the red buff. Fisher also going for Infinity Edge first, which isn't something that we generally see on the Tristana.
Definitely pretty interesting.
Yeah, we'll let the space handle that one.
Yeah, I thought, you know, maybe he was building towards it, and perhaps it wasn't fully built, but no, it's just there. It's just right there.
Yeah, it's not
in
the
our
components.
face. Okay. We'll see how that goes so far. Doing a decent number to Zeka, but Zeka did more to him. Here comes Sylvie up to the top side, still looking for something to do with his spears.
Some plates?
Throw them at.
you know, they can. This is not a big wave though.
Ooh. Meanwhile, Cougar's dead. Okay.
So how about them plates, huh?
Yeah, let's look at the plates in the top.
Serve them up, boys!
Uh-oh. Yeah, Viper, he wants more. And he might get it. He gets the flash out of Jiwoo as, ooh. Nice try in the predict, but not going to happen.
Yeah, he didn't actually have vision there, so he didn't know which way GU went.
Oh, boy. Meanwhile, we have the catch up at the top side. Delight getting some big value.
No,
on this
Sylvie!
Leona. And Fisher.
You were the chosen one!
Queue's up. The queue's up. There it is. And the Q3 comes through on the Yoni. Still has Assault 2, and that's going to be the end of Fisher as well. So that's 2 kills to Helmet Life Esports. And once again, I mean, the early game not going so horribly for Nongshim, but eventually something happens and the game gets ripped wide open by Helmet Life Esports.
Oh, a couple of back-to-back plays. Back breaking for Nongshim. Is it the... Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, his scanner didn't even last long enough to get the board. So
no, he didn't get the board, didn't get the cancel, and then he got unfortunately punished. This is what we were talking about, and this is the flash is obviously really rough by Sylvie there, but to me, one of the things with Nidalee, particularly when you're playing into a loader, you can't make mistakes. We've seen Cuz die to that exact play, right? And Cuz is an absolute top-tier jungler. For Sylvie, I think it is just insanely tough to have a carry performance on a champion like this. We don't have the team, your individual performance, even though I think he has been probably the best player on average in Nongshim, just doesn't warrant it. And because of all these shenanigans happening around the map, Doran has actually been able to do what you want. As the Kraken Slayer, he's going to get first turret blood here as well.
yeah, he's also got Peanut shadowing him on the bottom side as Cougar's going to put a ward down on that tri-brush. I thought for a second they were going to go for that. Instead, we're going to see Jiwoo in a bit of trouble once again. He just keeps getting bullied, man. They keep going for him as the flash forward. And Fisher, he wants blood. And he will get it here. A nice little solo kill on Adoran, who was not expecting that. I'll tell you that much. Meanwhile, this mid lane is going to be cleaned up, and so they can't push any further.
Big moment there for Nongshim, because that might also lead to a turret. TP is coming in, a possible collapse here. Nongshim, Maihao can TP in if they read the play. But will they?
Yeah, they see the light, and now the jump over the top of the Leona, but you've got a lot of stacking here as the Magnastorm is very good, actually, from Cougar, but Sylvie is going to be isolated. There's the heal, actually, and Peanut struggling to take him down, finally does so. And now the rest of Nongshim, they do not want to take a fight, even a flash, going to be utilized by Maihao to get him out of there.
Jiwoo was already really low. I imagine that was from the play in mid, so because of that, I don't think they wanted to go for it.
Well, they're going back in as the Impale will miss, and that will be the end of the Skarner. And now the follow-up. Oh, excellently done by Zeka, just able to dominate Fisher once again. Meanwhile, in mid, it looks like Jiwoo is in a bit of trouble. Doran just diving the turret and actually is going to win the 1v1. Jiwoo. And Doran's got a very sheepish look on his face now.
Yeah, Doran was like, oh boy! Had some fun with that one. Jiwoo, he's trying, man, but you can see Nongshim know that, like, that kill, it's nice if it happens in isolation, but it just isn't enough. The bot side play going completely all right. You can see Humble Life in these fights, in these skirmishes, are just running circles around. Because I don't even think that was unwinnable from, you know, a champion perspective, from a goal perspective. This is well done by Fisher. Finds the 1v1. But, like, realistically here, you're looking at a 4v4 with Doran still dead. He shouldn't be able to get here in time, and Jiwoo has his ultimate. So in theory, and Zeka also doesn't find anyone with his ult. Like, yes, Sylvie goes down, but I think maybe there's an angle where if Maihao can get a big ultimate off, right? Like an aggressive flash impale. When they're grouped up, Jiwoo ults in. But instead, they kind of go for the middle of ground where they don't do that, and then they just walk up afterwards. Humble Life read the play, already for the impale. And that's the end of it. Fisher ends up going down, and the small win that was gotten there immediately gets cancelled as... this is just classic Doran. Like, there's nothing about this that we haven't seen before.
There's nothing strange about this. Like,
no,
this happened a million times.
Yeah, I feel like we're... Yeah, just watch this.
미치겠네.
I'm gonna go crazy, he says.
왜 안 죽냐?
Why doesn't he die?
this is just who Doran is. It's like he should have died.
Should have died.
That was
I calculated
a perfect play.
Unfortunately,
Perfect play.
not very accurate on the calculation. Again,
Man, he
it's
did his
okay.
calculations, but boy, is he bad at math.
Yeah, well, he loves his calculations. We're gonna get another charge here into the inner. This is 44 health. You're not going towards Nongshim with that, so he's gonna run away. Utilize the movement speed of the Rift Herald to get to his jungle faster. What a play.
What did we learn in this game, Veldas? What are we learning? I was waiting!
There's nothing. I got nothing. Maybe, you know, today there's been a lot of Skarner prioritization, and it just feels like the Impale is getting read more, like better and better and better by pro teams. Like even Perfect, you know, was it the most accurate? No. But especially when it's really predictable and he's just kind of running at you and you know it's coming, it's like, okay, well, I can
really
dodge
easy.
this.
You know what? So obviously, like, Gen G made look good because that's unfair because it's Gen G.
Yeah,
so
doesn't count.
That doesn't count. I think it's going to be the same thing with Cassante, where we went through a lot of... So first when he came out, people genuinely thought it was bad, right? And then eventually, people got caught every single time by like his Q, free, by his combo, by his slamming you into the turret, by getting dragged back in. And then people never started dying to that. And then eventually Cassante's kept getting better and better, and finally, I think Skarner's the same thing, especially because this is basically a completely new champion, where now we're at the point where the Skarner prio kind of feels overdone, and then we're going to get more games. Wow, did he just miss?
He just missed.
Where the Skarner prio is...
sometimes.
Yeah, we saw, was it Owner miss one earlier? Where you're going to get to the point where the Skarners get better and better at finding the angles, and then it's just an eternal chain of that. Won't help Mihao in this game, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, not in this game, because at this moment we're kind of in the iteration where it's like teams kind of get the Skarner now. So the Skarners have to now go beyond that.
They have to go beyond, absolutely. His win rate's still good. You know, it's still doing his thing.
He is still top prio in the LCK at 100%. And no other champ is 100% at this point in time. Number 2 is actually Rumble behind him, which is not really that surprising. Getting banned a lot early on, and then, you know, afterwards just picked sometimes, but still just seen in almost every game. As now they're trying to collapse here on a Fisher, who is in a lot of trouble. Does have his flash, but in will go Zeka. That's another hop, and now the Magnet Storm coming in. But Peanut not going to let him go down. Zeka, though, does get dove on by the rest of Nongshim. Maybe an angle for them, but now Viper's going to show up, and nobody really can deal with him. He gets out of the Impale. They're so deep for the Viper that they get very out of position, and now Jiu has to fight against the Sejuani in a fight that he is not going to win. And Doran, an 80 carry in his own right, will eventually take down the Skarner. And that's going to be the ace going the way of Homolade Esports.
The light showing off the Gen G mode there. That was as good as a fight as they were going to get, realistically. A lot gets thrown into Fisher here, who makes it out, gets the buffer and the buster shot, flashes away, and then is actually able to get out as well from the gold card. And then here, they're able to get the kill on Zeka. Jiu goes in, but unfortunately that does mean that Viper is just not really getting checked at all. And if Jiu is like full health, then maybe he wins this 1v1 against Peanut, but that's not the case. We're seeing some weird stuff, but I think in the picture everything is fine nonetheless. Yeah. It's a 2-for-4 trade, which isn't the worst, but
2 for 5.
Yeah, actually, and also they also used all their subs.
Yeah,
I'm grasping.
You're trying. It's good. No, I like it. I like it. You got to play devil's advocate. There's still a chance, but
not really.
Not right now.
There is a chance. Just keep looking.
Just not at this moment right now. Yeah, don't look at that one. It was actually a really nice ult that was lined up by Zeka there. Just knowing that Fisher didn't know he was there, you know, it doesn't have flash.
I really felt like Fisher was doing well, but then I'm looking at his kills and his deaths, and I'm like, well, maybe he wasn't. Maybe it was a lie. Sylvie.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he's being hunted down.
No way. Zeka's way too strong.
Yeah. You know, they let go of the Cassante. They said there's other choices into Skarner. We don't have to play Cassante. Let's get a really strong mid-jungle duo. And Peanut took it a step further and kind of just carried the whole early game by himself in every lane. And then now we're seeing, you know, later stages of the game with the Yone Fed and the Sejuani Fed. It's really difficult to deal with.
This right there is why the TF remains a pick. Coming up pretty consistently is all a trap. Is it? Can they get through the Hellfire?
No. Peanut is just that tanky. He has 7 kills and 0 deaths and 5 assists. Last time I checked. He might have gotten another one there in that last play. The Red Bull Baron power play coming through for Homalife Esports. 7,000 gold to lead here in game number 2. Looking to get the 2-0. And yeah, he's got 3 items, 7-0 and 5. Peanut will not die. 7
kills on Sejuani. Yeah, actually, it's very funny. I had a little puff paper from the previous game that I put my jungle vote on before Peanut started being silly. Yeah. And then now I can just...
Now you can just put it up this game.
Put it back up.
Wow.
I know.
Conservation, using all of the paper as well as we possibly can.
Well, otherwise I would just cross it out and put in, you know, something else.
We don't like that. That's messy.
The Rebel Baron power play is looking good already. 2.5K.
I love how Jonas Strong's like, oh, okay, Peanut's going to ult someone at some point.
Right.
Peanut's been really proactive this game. He has thrown his ults in and been pretty accurate as well.
So that's Horizon Focus, Leandries. And like it barely does any damage, and he is Warmogs.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Nidalee had to get ahead earlier on in this game. And when this happens, I mean, you really have to walk that thin line you were talking about. That's why it's so difficult. Like, you have to put on pressure, but you also have to not get caught by all the CC on the enemy team. And sometimes...
There's so much.
It's just so difficult.
It's so much of it as well. Is like, there's an auto-attack-based one. There is Peanut, who has, if you ever get any melee attacks, there's the point and click of the gold card.
Who can also TP on you if you're out of position. Yeah, it's really hard. And if the whole team's not on board and playing around it, it can be really rough, which is what you said in Graft, and it's very true. That's Infernal Soul for Homalife Esports. And they essentially just utilize their Baron to push bottom inner and then get the Soul. So now they're kind of in a unlosable spot. We saw a, you know, relatively close fight based on the current game state in the last fight. But after that, it's been all Homalife Esports all the time.
And Veldas, Nongshim, their schedule doesn't get a whole lot better. So, because they face KT, who, you know, once upon a time we might have been thinking, oh, that's doable.
And then they have the Giga Chads.
Well, yeah, that's actually the one where I feel
huge
a little
matchup.
bit better. That Brion versus Nongshim, that's definitely going to be one where they do have a shot, and then they face Genji. So...
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I'm just happy for them that they got that DRX win. I think it matters a lot, and then they might get the Brion win as well. You know, the Giga Chats are very benevolent. They are a generous team.
It's not about winning or losing for them. It's just about having a good time. About existing, being friendly.
What was your favorite
Generous Giga Chads, GG.
Favorite silly moment of this series? As it is...
I think it's when Viper died to Gugur in game 1.
Oh, he walked back in?
He's like, no, I need this kill, and then he just dies. Now, Nongshim, they are going to miss the Impale. They did get the first part of that very nicely, but now it's just the Viper show. Lines up a huge two-shot barrage, and then eventually Nongshim do all get away.
Oh man, some of these teamfight moments from Nongshim, you can see the idea, you can see a world in which it would work. It's just not this world. And it bums me out, Valdez. It bums me out.
It's just not this world.
They keep trying.
Seems relatively depressing. But, yeah,
they're down 10k gold and an Infernal Soul, Valdez. I think I get to be...
Yeah, they've taken a page out of the B&K Fearex book where it's like, you know what? We're not going to go down without a fight. And even from this far behind, they're fighting. They're looking for angles. They're utilizing what CC they have, the Skarner and the Rel. You know, Mihail and Gugur, they've gotten in there for the team. And it hasn't always worked out very often. But they're trying to make plays. Take it away, Chronic. Break down this team fight.
It really is. That's actually a good play by Mihal where he goes in for the Flash E on Peanut. If he actually hits him, if he drags him in, they could kill him. Like, we're getting to the point where between LDR and Jiwoo being on free items, the Kai'Sa passive is gonna really chunk. So that would have been a kill on Peanut, which would have been a big bounty. I think they might have then, you know, invested too much, and then there would have been trouble in the fight. But we're gonna focus small steps, small victories. That could have been a possible turning point.
They know that Sylvie's in that brush because there was a ward spotting the traps that were being laid. And Viper was very ready to get in there if his team called for it. But
hey, Geo now has his W evolve.
Tell me about it.
No, I... Stop being like that, Velvet.
Sorry, I just can't help myself.
No, I understand. It's a rough one. For
Sylvie's
the
got
boys.
some items. He's healing above 300 now. He's getting some big heals in there. And Mahal just on the run. Oh my, that's a big one. We got some dashes out of there. And Humble Esports, they say, well, we have enough damage. We could just kill the front line. And Mahal lands an Impale. It's not going to matter as he gets taken down. Humble Esports will take the Baron.
It was also on an unbound soul.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
that guy
it landed.
It's just
Am I wrong?
He's roaming Summoner's Rift unbound. Unfortunately, all that the Miel can get ends up going down. Yeah, you see the damage that Viper did there with one ultimate because they have Infernal Soul. There's an unreasonable amount of AD available here. That it's half their health bar. And they have to, you know, Geo gets healed up a little bit by Sylvie, which is nice. But Miel is unfortunately not tanky. That's going to be the Baron. That should be the end to this game. Unfortunately, I don't think Noshim is going to bring us to a game number 3, Valdez. It's not looking likely.
Q's got his W evolved. You know?
Come on, man.
I'm just being mean now. Okay, they're going to take down this mid inhibitor. And Humble Esports grouping up for that top inhibitor as well. I think they're going to put Noshim out of their misery. The gold card, keeping Mahal in place for quite a long time. And there's the ult as well. The chain comes in. Nice. Magnus Storm does come out from Cougar, but unfortunately the follow-up is just not there. And now we got the ult as well into the Tristana. Just going to go down. Jiwoo to follow soon enough. A gigantic heal comes out from Sylvie, but it's just not going to matter. Humble Esports will go home with the 2-0 tonight. Zeka nearly goes down, but he's just going to be fine. The light eating some fountain damage because why not? And that's going to do it. GG, Humble Esports. Big 2-0 win tonight. Peanut's got a big smile on his face. He knows what he did.
Game number 1 got very silly. I think game number 2, there were a couple of moments, but it really did feel like the coach came and said, guys, come on, get it together at least a little bit. And they did. I think it wasn't the cleanest showing, but I also don't think that we really can draw any conclusions about the strength of Humble Life after this. We've seen this from a lot of our top teams where you come in against one of the bottom tier teams and you're like, hey, what are they going to do? Sometimes the answer is, like in a T1 Nongshim, a whole lot. And sometimes, like in this series, the answer is nothing. Unfortunately for Nongshim, that's some good individual moments, but just couldn't string them together.
She had so many Peanut signs. And yeah, he was the guy. Here it is again. It's the Peanut in a cape. And I would not be surprised to see the solo POG going over to Peanut tonight. I mean, he gets it for game 1. He's going to get it for game 2. And he was just everywhere. And this is what he does against junglers that just aren't on his level. He just comes in and he just owns the Rift. He looks unstoppable.
It's to me, it's the combination of against weaker junglers and better teams that can match Hanwha in lanes can just ban out 2 of them and pick the 3rd. Yeah. Which is something that I think is a large reason of why DK was able to win, right? Because they were able to ban out and then pick 5 for Lucid. I think for Gen G, it's self-explanatory because of how good their lanes are. They can always make sure that Peanut isn't on one of those picks. And even they, I'm pretty sure, still keep banning the Maokai against very consistently because it is a pick that he just has so much control on. But if you're a team like Nongshim, you need to use your bans to just make your lanes even remotely playable, which means he always gets to do whatever he wants. The fact we didn't talk at all about Zeka playing Yone, which is one of his iconic picks, and he also had amazing game on it, or the fact that Delight, maybe, I don't know, maybe Ox will, you know, give him another shout, because he did actually
There's
have
no way.
no, I'm not saying in terms of vote, but in terms of what he, because he did actually have a really big impact on the early game and on the map.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no way that Ox votes for Delight in this game, right?
I don't know.
Surely.
It's the summer of supports.
No. Even so, I mean, this is... No.
No.
Peanut just had too big of a game. I think he just did too much in this one. I mean, Delight was good. Don't get me wrong. The whole team of HLE Esports had a good game, but yeah, I think Peanut was just everywhere. And he ganked mid early, you remember, and then he went bot, and he went top. And all the lanes were in his favor, and he was able to play around them. Sylvie wasn't able to play around much, and it ended up being the Peanut show once again.
It's another issue, as we highlighted in the draft as well, but if you have losing lanes and you're playing Nidalee, it's really hard to make a big impact. I can only imagine that we're going to see Nongshim still continuously swap around players. Even though I don't think Mihal's showing today inspired a lot of confidence, I still hope he gets to play more just to give him a couple of weeks, see how he develops, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Challenger, he was quite weak at the beginning, only good in Cassandra, and then as he played more and more, I think we slowly started seeing level up. I'm also worried about the Guger experiment. This was obviously going to be something that we all look to with a little bit of skepticism. I feel like age is one thing, but it's more so not playing for quite a while.
Yeah. Making a comeback in any sense is really insanely hard.
It is.
Like,
it's insanely hard, but it's also, like, I get in theory it makes sense, the idea that these players need guidance in-game, but the problem is we haven't really been seeing a whole lot of that, and he has come. It's similar to the Bible situation, where I do think his laning is at the point where it actually is a bit of a detriment to his team. And we'll see what happens there. For Nongshim, unfortunate day. For Hanwha, quick 2-0. Nothing to see here.
I only have one more question. How many media votes for Viper?
2.
2? Left and right? Or you think mid?
No.
Mid media?
Mid-right. Left media, I would.
Left? Do you think left?
I trust
a little
left,
bit too base?
I trust left media.
Okay. That's all I'm really curious about after that series. Yeah. Clean 2-0 from HLE Esports. Not much else to see here. We're going to throw it over to the space to break down this series.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason for the POG interview translation, joined by the solo POG on the side of HLE Esports, Peanut. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We have another thing to celebrate, actually. You are the first LCK jungler to hit 700 games in the LCK. Congratulations on that as well. How do you feel? I actually just realized after arriving to the low park, so it's amazing that I got a victory on the milestone day and also won a double POG. Now, you also joined the POG leaderboard, and all of the POG leaders are actually junglers. Do you think this is a jungle meta right now? I think, yeah, a little bit, because, changes in the items adds more momentum to the jungler's power. So, luckily, I'm also joining the jungler POG club. Game number 1, your Vi was so on point. Opponents had Sejuani Zaya, which is actually a pretty good counter into Vi. But your Vi managed to find the angle and always make a play. What does make Vi so powerful right now? Her initiations are just so strong, I can rather, turn to Corki. I don't always have to go for Zaya, so I can go for enemy other champions like Corki, Rumble, so it was pretty good pick into opponent's comp. And Peanut, you always manage to draw some target bans to your champion pool, so today, especially your Maokai, always gets a target ban. In every 14 games so far this season, your Maokai gets removed. Any thoughts on that? Over the past few years, he has been a really good fellow of mine. You know, we've been a really good friends. Me and Maokai had a really good time together, but even in scrims now, we just assume that enemy will just remove that Maokai card, so we try to opt into different picks. Sometimes they let it through and I won every single game on Maokai when enemy slipped on my Maokai, so maybe. And then game 2, we had an R5 TF for Doran. Was that Doran's idea? It's been a while since we saw that champion. So yeah, Doran was making a list of the top champions that we can go for, and TF was one of them, and I thought it was pretty viable. However, Doran had some frustration with his TF performance throughout the game. So how did the rest of the players manage to play around the map in order to help him out? I mean, he did die, a couple of times in game, but it didn't really affect, the situation of the game. So we just wanted to focus on what we have to do. And out of your 4 POGs so far this season, you have won 3 of them on Sejuani, and your Sejuani was legendary, especially in game 2, 8, 0, and 7. How are you able to get so fed on Sejuani? I think the early game setup was really successful. After ganking mid, I was able to get a kill, and then Doran was managing the top lane way really well, so I could also go for a turret dive on the top lane, and then I got another kill. So my Sejuani got pretty accelerated. Then looking back at your Sejuani performance in game 2, what is the favorite play? Probably the early gank on the mid lane. That was like my first gameplay attempt, and it worked really well, and it got my Sejuani going really fast. So I would like to say that early gank was effective. Next week, we're having a week off due to the EWC happening. What is your plan for the downtime? A little bit of a rest, I don't really think that the vacation is really long, and also we're still playing the LCK. The season is keep going, so I just want to keep focusing on my practice and get a little bit of a rest for myself. And Peanut, before we go, anything you would like to say to all the fans out there? Today was a very meaningful day for me, especially considering the milestone that I got to hit. So winning on a day like this means even more. So I'm so happy that I get to share this moment with my fans, and I always really appreciate all your support. Thank you. And that is the end of the interview from Peanut, and back to the space. Thank you.